All right, a great day, great finish to the prep. We got another review tomorrow, but as far as the on-the-field work and practice time, just a really focused group, an excited group, obviously, with this opportunity that we have in front of us to go down there and play the Saints. So we're fired up to get after it.
How much do you have to talk about what happened last night as far as what it kind of means for you guys and if it might maybe heightens the importance of this week?
It's the same process that we've had all year. Every game is a championship opportunity, and where we've been even before the game last night, approaching this game and respecting the opponent, respecting the Saints, and the challenges that we have right in front of us. And so that's got to be the focus. And for us, is our pursuit is to find our best football and to continue to work on the things, from all phases that we're trying to improve upon and that we can count on. And so keeping the guys locked in and focused on that, and understanding we have this opportunity right in front of us. In the division and what's looking at us, it's easy for me to sell that.
You told us on Monday that when you watched the Saints-Tampa game on Sunday that you got emotionally involved.
Yeah.
When watching last night, were you able to stay more even-keeled, or did you let your emotions take over again?
I watched the first half and, 8 o'clock kicks here, so it's around 10 o'clock. Got to sleep with the workday in front of me, and woke up and found out what the score was. I'll have a chance to dive fully into it, as we go into it next week. But, last week was different because we're playing the Saints this week. So I was able to watch that full game and, be involved with that part of it as a part of my early evaluation process. But if I'm asking the guys to be focused on this week, I have to as well. And I'm sure I'll have a chance to, dive into some of those things, going forward.
I mean, the fact that you went to bed early and didn't know the results in the morning, does that kind of speak to the focus that you want these guys to have throughout this entire process?
We have to be ready to attack every day, and if you want to continue to improve your processes, it's about these practices that we have and making sure that we're all on the same page with this day, attacking this day with all the energy and focus that we can.
Brad's been brought up as a potential future head coach by some media lately. I know when you're the offensive coordinator in title, but you don't necessarily call plays, it's kind of curious how involved you are. How important is he to the week-to-week process and really your development as a head coach?
Invaluable. The one thing that I've known about Brad for a long time now, first of all, I met Brad when he was in high school. His dad, John, was working for us in Seattle, and so got to be familiar with him. But then he came back to us as a quality control coach, and the work ethic, the trust factor, the loyalty that I know Brad brings, he carries this thing. He's the engineer, and he's the one that's talking to the staff and cranking out, who's got what, scripting things, making sure that our conversations, my job is to come in and make sure it looks like us and make sure that, we're doing the right things for the players that we have. But I can't do this without Brad. And I know he'll get an opportunity to call plays at some point, and I think he's going to kill it because, I've been in his role a lot of different times over the years for, Darrell Bevel, for Brian Schottenheimer, for Shane Waldron, where I'm the one sitting there kind of evaluating and looking for the spots to attack what the defense is doing. You have the sheets in front of you. You have the coverage notes, and the play caller is getting the personnel in the next play out there. And what Brad's done a great job for me is to just continue to be 2 or 3 plays ahead of where we're at and getting me prepared for potential fourth down, go for it scenarios, and having the things we talked about in between series circled and ready to go. And he's done a phenomenal job, and it's been amazing for me to just watch him grow over the last 2 years in his leadership, being in front of the room, being able to talk to the guys on a consistent basis, and making sure that, we care about the things that are important to us.
You talk a lot about finish and about opportunity. Did you address the team today just about both of those things in the wake of last night's result?
Nope. Today was our Friday. Today was a focus Friday, and we had to be locked in, finishing up some of our red zone concepts. Friday's the day you really pull the whole game plan together. First and second down, third down, short yardage goal line, red zone. And so it's really this cool, dry run at the things that we're doing. And that's our focus. Our focus is to make sure we win the day because that leads to great process. And that's been a part of what we're doing. Everybody watched the game. We all, the guys, the coaches, we all watched it, but we also understand, that's for next week. We play the Bucs next week. We're playing the Saints this week. We got to have our focus here. It's going to take everything we have to win this game, and we're going to get the Saints' best shot.
Bryce has been putting up some big fourth quarter numbers. How important with that chance to stay in control of the conference to get off to a quick start and kind of avoid that lull that seems to be trending, in the end of the first quarter into the second quarter?
Yeah, just looking for consistency, and I would love to see that from snap one until the end of the game, to your question. And, the fact that we do finish well in the fourth quarter, is that we take a lot of pride in that. We take a lot of pride in the way that we prepare, do right longer, maintain that focus, and it's the simplest execution that's required throughout. It also comes from just a lot of adjustments that go throughout the game and the different ways we're trying to run the ball and how they're impacting that, how we're trying to throw the ball, how they're impacting that. And so there are a lot of conversations that we kind of settle into a type of game plan as the game goes on. But what I'd love to see, more success early on and especially in the middle part of the game, absolutely. That goes back to the place where we're talking about finding our best football, is finding that consistent football that shows up, drive in and drive out.
With JC cleared and ready to come back, do you think is there any common thread on his interception numbers this year? He's always been a guy who hasn't had those kind of production numbers.
Yeah, it's attention to detail, and it's really, this is attributed to his study habits, the way that he watches film, the way he prepares himself and looks at who's at what spot in formation, what's the split, taking in the D&D and all those things that come with just being out there playing with your teammates and trusting your eyes, trusting your feet. And, what I've seen of JC, he's got incredible hands. And, I've even flirted with the thought of shoot, in an end of game scenario and you got a jump ball, why not put JC out there and try to get up there and affect the game that way too, because of his ability to track the ball and to come up with those catches. But it's all just paying off because of the work he's been putting in.
What will Claude's role be Sunday?
Claude's got to be ready to roll. We got Christian Roseboom back this week as well. Claude will be definitely playing a lot of special teams, but he's got to be ready to contribute on defense as well. He showed us some stuff. He showed us he can help this team win. And if he gets called upon, we'll be excited to see him have another opportunity out there.
When you see guys step up, specifically on defense, I know EJ is going to handle the rotations and stuff, but when a guy steps up and you have two starters, I know inside linebackers, you're normally not taking them off the field, but can you manufacture opportunities for them in certain packages?
I've seen that done across the league in different ways, where maybe a guy is a little bit more of a rundown player. Danny Stutzman for the Saints, he's mixing in there some for Pete Werner in some different spots. And they have three really good linebackers they like to try to get out there on the field. So it's just great to bring that up because we're playing the Saints this week. And so, there are opportunities that way. And these are good. These are good things for us as a staff to evaluate. The bye week gave us a chance to kind of look at some of the other spots to see who can we get involved, who can get out there to see if they can impact the game.
No injury designations this week, so yeah, it seemed to be trending in the right direction that way. Saw Rob Hunt out there again today. Just looking at his week so far, does it feel like he's closer to potentially having that window open maybe next week or the week after that?
Every week closer. We'll reevaluate that on Monday, Tuesday, and just see where he's at from a strength standpoint. And then, of course, the biggest thing for the offensive line or any interior lineman, defense or offense, is how much you use your arms, your upper body. When the picture changes, when a defensive lineman, runs a stunt, we got to make sure that, the arms extended away from your body. That's got to be the most strong possible place so that you're safe in that and you're powerful in that position. And really that's the next thing out there for him. So we're going to continue to, push that and make sure we'll get him out there when he's ready.
Speaking of that, Brad kind of brought up Damian Lewis's punch and how he's been able to kind of handle both pass protection and run stopping. In your eyes, since he was a rookie in 2020, how much has he grown? But also, why is he having such a successful season?
He's always been an incredible athlete, and he's got length. For being a 6'3" guy, not the tallest. Sometimes you have your guard 6'5", 6'6", and that. But he's got great length, and he's incredibly quick. So he matches quickness well. He's a big man too, and so he can anchor when you got a bigger guy who might, be a little bit taller than him. He can still anchor and find that. But what I've seen from D. Lewis, he's seen a lot of football and a lot of different combinations at this point. Even speaking to some of the veteran quarterbacks that I've worked with, try to remind these guys, you've seen it all. You've seen every stunt. You've seen every pressure that can happen. You've seen different body types in there. And Damian just really leaning on his experience. And he cares. He cares so much about this team. He cares about winning. He's a great teammate. He picks and chooses when he speaks, but when he does, it comes from the heart with a lot of passion. And that's what I love about D-Lou.
Is David more farther ahead than Rob in terms of return to play?
We're going to try to get David out there next week, and open up his window to practice in a mode to see if he can handle being out there running route. He's been running because it's an elbow injury, so he's at top speeds. He looks great, But again, it kind of goes to the same part of it. He's going to be blocking. He's a special teams player as well, so we got to make sure that he's strong enough, stable enough to be ready for the impact.